MetalsTech's a hard rock lithium exploration play based in Quebec. We've focused on exploring our hard rock production opportunities as opposed to looking at brine opportunities, which we feel gives us the ability to actually access lower cost operating efficiencies. We believe that hard rock exploration has got a natural advantage to brine production in that we actually believe that we can bring it on to production with a lower cost operating environment. We've built a highly qualified and skilled team of managers and consultants that the business is working with that have a natural edge in lithium exploration in Quebec also. Our projects are targeting near surface hard rock lithium operating opportunities. We've conducted a number of field activities on our projects, and we've actually identified some very high grade at surface results, which we're looking to capitalise on now. We made a fairly conscious decision early in the piece that we would actually team up with somebody that has the technology to enable us to take our spodumene concentrate through to a lithium chemical and be able to operate in a price-efficient capacity against the brine production operators. We've focused solely on Quebec because of the lower cost access to power, plus the, I would say that's a very active workforce that is available in Quebec as well. There's also a history of mining and particularly a history of lithium exploration and lithium production in Quebec, which we feel gives us a natural edge. Not only are we operating in Quebec, but we also have the North American markets available to us as far as it goes for looking at offtake and customers that are basically on our doorstep. So we look at that as being a natural differentiator from MetalsTech as opposed to other ASX listed lithium explorers and near-term producers. We're also pure play in the fact that we're actually not looking at lithium as I would say, a doubling commodity. We're actually building a business model around lithium as the metal. We see that the lithium market itself is one that is going to expand, and the natural adoption of lithium in everyday use is going to continue to grow. And we'd like to position MetalsTech as a company that can take advantage of these burgeoning opportunities. Quebec's got a natural history of being involved in lithium exploration and production. It's one of the lowest cost operating environments as far as industrial power is concerned. It also has significant access to infrastructure, and this is infrastructure that's been in place for many years now. So access to our projects is favourable. We've got our primary project, which is known as CANSET, sits alongside rail and sits alongside power, which gives us the greatest operating advantage compared to other projects which are located in remote locations. We've also been able to, I suppose, put together a portfolio of projects in Quebec that you wouldn't necessarily be able to acquire in other parts of the world. And we look at Quebec as being very much at the forward sort of path of thinking as far as environmental and permitting is concerned. So we also take it a view that Quebec offers us the greatest leverage to be able to take our projects into production. Hard rock has always been an interesting one for us. We took a view that hard rock lithium exploration is going to be the near-term production supply opportunities as compared to your brine operators. Brine has traditionally had a history of either very expensive capex exercises, or alternatively they're faced with considerable delays in terms of taking a project from really what you would say the exploration stage into production. Whereas conversely, operating in a hard rock lithium space, because you're using traditional mining techniques and you're using a mining technique which is very well understood, you're operating in geology, which is hard rock, so you're using traditional drill and blast operations. We look at those hard rock opportunities as being A, easier to get into production, B, cheaper to get into production, and C, you have an opportunity to actually bring them into production a lot sooner compared to other operations, particularly your clay deposits, for instance, as well, not just the brines. We've built a fairly strong portfolio of hard rock lithium projects in Quebec. We've got 6 projects all up. 2 of them are our flagship projects, and we have 1 project which is a very large project. Our 2 flagship projects, CANSET being the first, sits along road and rail, but it also has a very large pegmatite outcrop at surface. Previous sampling work done by us has been very complementary, given us some very encouraging results as far as high-grade lithium at surface is concerned. Our plans from here on in are actually to conduct our maiden drilling campaign before we can actually take this project through to its sort of resource definition and into economic analysis as well. Adina is another project which we characterise as being high priority for the company. Again, sits on a very large pegmatite outcrop at surface, very high grade channel sampling results. It is not as favourably located in respect of infrastructure, but it's close enough to Cairns-Set so that we can actually bring both projects into production and use one centralised beneficiation and processing structure. We have another large project which is called Terra de Montaña, which is adjacent to Nemaska Lithium's Wilbuchi spodumene mine. It's about 8,000 hectares, so it's a very large property. It's along the same geological trend as what Nemaska's property is. A lot of Pathfinder exploration has been done, so Pathfinder minerals being leading indicators to lithium mineralisation. We're yet to commence our field activities on that project. It's one of those projects that we need to take a very systematic approach towards, one that will actually start to really become far more aggressive in terms of our exploration activities come second quarter of this year, which is quite complementary because we can drill Cairns-Set and Adina and still fulfil the market with respect to sort of our advanced development and opportunities going forward. We have built 3 other properties in the region as well, which either sit close to or adjacent to other operating or near-term producing projects. Those projects give us the advantage of being able to put ourselves in the same geological sort of neighbourhood as other high priority projects, but also offer us potential M&A opportunities in the future.
So we have an arrangement with Lithium Australia, which is, as you know, an ASX listed company, a technology company focused on proprietary lithium extraction processes. The company took the view very early on that we see one of the challenges going forward in the lithium space is there are a lot of people who are looking to produce a lithium concentrate, which then you would need to rely on third-party processing either in China or somewhere else. Our strategy is to, de-risk that, that potential price-taking metric early on in the piece. So we've actually taken on an exclusive arrangement with Lithium Australia's silage processing technology in Quebec, meaning we are the only company allowed to use that process within Quebec to take a spodumene concentrate and actually use it to make lithium chemicals ourselves using our own process. So that particular agreement, differentiates us a little from some of the other explorers insofar as we are not reliant necessarily on just producing a spodumene concentrate. We can go the next stage and actually produce the lithium chemicals, which is, it's a more advanced corporate strategy and it's more involved, but we have the benefit of having Lithium Australia as our technology partners, bearing the risk of advancing that part of the business, and we don't have to fund that cost, which is also very important because we have, as a junior company, very limited amount of capital and we're return on equity focused and we're not technologists, we are exploration and mining company, and it's important to focus on that. So that's the purpose of that agreement and relationship. Well, look, the hard rock lithium space is an interesting one, and one of the main reasons the company was attracted to hard rock as opposed to brine projects as a form of lithium production is that it has leverage to potential advances in technology. Obviously, with a hard rock project, you take an ore which you dig up out of the ground, you put it through a concentrator, and you're left with a certain amount of lithium in what we call spodumene in an ore. And the next stage is to take that to some form of beneficiation. Now, the ability with hard rock is there's lots of different ways you can beneficiate that concentrate, and changes in technology allow for changes in your cost profile. The most important part of building any mining project is to always, target that sort of low end of the cost curve. So hard rock being leveraged to that, technology side of the process means that there's lots of opportunities in that space. And as a company, we've decided that that's a key part of the business, and it was something that we found in hard rock that we couldn't find in the brine space. That leverage to advances in technology, which we see as being a big part of the lithium market going forward.
I think the lithium market's a little bit confused at the moment. We haven't really seen any of your brine producers take off in terms of being able to add to supply. We've seen a market change in demand. Demand has definitely grown where it outstrips the supply in a number of folds. That in itself has actually created somewhat of a deficit, and hence the reason why we've seen the price of lithium carbonate hydroxide increase exponentially over the last 12 to 18 months. I think there's somewhat a stability to come through and a bit of a normalisation of the price, but I also don't think that's going to take place for another couple of years until the investors in the market and particularly the key consumers of the carbonate and hydroxide actually see what the brine producers are actually able to contribute in terms of increased production. You've also got a number of hard rock exploration or developers coming into production in the next 12 months. Nemaska being one of them, Galaxy Resources being another at Mount Caitlin in Western Australia. I think you'll see a formative change in the lithium market, but it's almost too early to say where the market's going. Safe to say that demand itself is going to continue to grow. We're seeing significant adoption in mainstream markets. Energy storage is actually becoming one of the most important elements of sustainability for developing and developed nations and economies. And I think as you see that continual evolution in battery storage and I suppose energy capture, you're going to see quite a market change in the demand metrics again. I think that the lithium market itself is here to stay for a long time. It's been 25 years in the making to get it to a position where we are today. And I can't see any competitor in terms of competitive landscape to the lithium-ion battery coming into the market and actually disrupting the adoption or the onset of the lithium age. MetalsTech really is all about being aggressive in terms of its exploration activities at primarily Cairns and at Adina. We're looking to take those projects through from the exploration stage and very quickly into feasibility. We really are looking to strike a balance between proving the economics of that project and making sure that we can actually meet the market in terms of time frame to take it into production. It's very important the landscape of the lithium supply and demand metric that we're actually able to position MetalsTech appropriately. We want to ensure that we're production ready by 2019, by the end of 2019, because that's where we see quite a transformative change in the demand space, but also supply we anticipate will actually catch up at that stage as well. So for us, it's important that MetalsTech really is positioned strongly to be able to take at least one of its projects into production. We take a view that Cairns offers us the best opportunity to be able to do that and capitalise on the landscape and the market for lithium.